So we're on the doorstep of Christmas, believe it or not. And I've been asked by the Longford Library Services to come up with 3 classes dedicated to the festive season. So we're starting in the most important one. That's for a dessert for Christmas, either Christmas Day or during Christmas. And this is a really, really easy one to do. So I have the oven preheated. I have my ingredients weighed out. So it's time to start cracking eggs. So let's get going. Okay, in the mixer here, I have a freestanding mixer, and I scalded out my bowl already with some hot water, and I've given it a good dry out. That's just to remove any grease or any bits of dust particles that may be lodging on in the pores of your saucepan. So in here, I'm going to crack 5 eggs. So we want only the egg whites. So that's 1. And the difference in pavlova and meringue, meringue doesn't have any corn flour or vinegar, so it's not as marshmallowy in the centre as a pavlova is, but equally delicious. So that's all our eggs, in with our whisk. And if you're doing it even with a handheld whisk mixer like that, high speed straight away. So I have it whipping up here, so if you want to come in there for a second, Michael, and it's just not fluffy enough. I'd like to be more cloudy. So we're nearly there. You can go back in there, Michael, now, and you can see it's getting fluffier and cloudier looking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in about 3 dessert spoons of sugar. 1, 2, 3. I'm after adding in 3 dessert spoons of sugar. I'm going to let that whip for about a minute, and then we keep adding the rest in, and 1 minute intervals in between. So you can see, I just have another little bit of sugar to add in. So we leave it for about a minute and a half, and don't be in a hurry adding in the sugar, because often you see sometimes your pavlova weeps, and that's because you've rushed adding in the sugar, and it just has to mix thoroughly. So just take your time, about a minute and a half between every addition. In the remainder of the sugar, so you can tip it in like that. So that's the final addition, and we let that whip away now for about a couple of minutes. And you can hear the motor in the mixer there. You can hear it going down because it's starting to pull on it with the sugar gone in there, and the mixture is getting thick and glossy. And that's exactly what you want to hear. So we, as I said, we leave that for another minute or 2 there, and you'll hear it bashing off the side of the bowl, and we'll come back to it then. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous, lovely. And same there when you add it up just like that over your head, and you shouldn't have any running at all. There should be no running. If it's running, you could have over mixed it. So just remove the excess off our beater and our spatula. And just the other quick thing I wanted to mention, lots of people to say to me, what will I do with the egg yolks? If you're doing scrambled egg tomorrow, just add in a few whole eggs along with your egg yolks. If you're making brown bread, if you're making scones, throw them into it. There's carbonara, lots of lovely things you can make. So the thing we're going to do now is we're just going to put a little bit of meringue on each of the corners. Not a major amount, it's just to make the parchment paper. I'm lining the tin then with some parchment paper. Make sure it's not greaseproof, it's parchment, because if it's greaseproof, it will stick. Baking paper it's been called now, but parchment paper, baking paper is the same. So now we get our meringue, and we're just going to move this mixer out of the way. And just basically, lovely and thick. That's exactly what you want. I have to nearly whip it off the spatula. So now with a palette knife, you just gently coax it along your tray, just like that, into your corners. So you could just flake it or just toss on the top of this meringue. Now you could do some pistachios or flaked almonds. So just smooth it out like that. No need to butter it too much, and don't be delaying now. This needs to go into the oven right away. Once it's mixed in your bowl, onto your tin and into your oven. So that's sufficiently done there now. Okay. And just pop that there. And then I have some flaked almonds. Do we have flaked almonds here? Yeah, just up there, Mike. Just up there are flaked almonds. It's great to have good help in the kitchen. It's hard got these days. Now, so I want a few almonds. Just rough. If there's an allergy to nuts or seeds or anything like that, you can just leave them off. So just on top. And that's it. Into our oven, preheated, 150 degrees, and no delayment. Okay. So I'm just going to show you while our meringue roulade is in the oven. This is just a regular floor tile, obviously never used. And I just melted some chocolate on it here and I let it go cold. So what I'm going to do, just with the back of my knife, I'm just kind of going to make, these are flakes for decorating the top of our roulade. Now you could, of course, put this onto a granite work surface, but if your kitchen is too warm, you'll never get it to set. So that's what I'm just kind of doing, melting it on there, let it set, and just, we have these then to use on top of our cake. So we'll keep going there until it's all done. So I'm just going to show you how to segment an orange. So you top and tail your orange, and then just with the side of your, just slide down by the side with your knife and remove the skin. So just any little bits like that, just remove. Okay, and then we're going to show you how to segment the orange, which is very easy. So hold your orange over a bowl just to catch any of the juices, and you can see the little wedges there. So just go down the inside, and then again on the inside, just like that. That's your segment, okay? And then the next one, you go down on the inside, and you just should be able to, just turn your knife and go back out the other side, just like that, and so on. Now, our 20 minutes is up. We'll just have a look at it. Oh, it's lovely. That's gorgeous. That's really well. Yep, that's great. Our meringue is done. So now we're going to let that cool for about half an hour or so. And or if you wanted to, at this stage, you could leave it like that in your tin. It will collapse a little bit. That's just normal. But you could leave it in your tin until the next day. I have a piece of parchment paper, a little bit bigger than the roulade itself. I got some icing sugar in the sieve, and I'm going to sieve it on to the parchment paper, and we're going to turn the roulade out here onto this now, and that just gives it a little nice finish on the top of it. Okay, so that should be sufficient there like that. And then take your roulade and just gently, don't let it bounce down or you'll have a big powdery face. Just down like that. And remove back, and don't go ripping it back like this. Remove it gently, walk it back off your roulade. Okay? So I just have a tin of caramel. I had it in the fridge, and I'm just going to put a layer of it along our roulade. Now you could do this with a ganache or even the Nutella, anything like that. Lemon curd is another thing you could just do it along. So I'm just going to basically put on a little bit, and with a palette knife again, and just easily, gently, you don't want too much, it's just a little taste, just like that along your roulade. Okay? And we're going to pop on some fresh cream onto a roulade. Again, not too much. Just spread it out with our palette knife again. Just like that. Okay. So I have some kiwi diced up here. So I'm just going to, now you can fill it with whatever fruit you want. So just randomly, and some strawberries, just randomly around like that. And we might just put on a handful of blueberries, just around it. And then the other thing is just some of the oranges that I segmented earlier. Just roughly dice them up, a few. And we pop them on, just like that. And the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to roll it. So I have it on a piece, or have it on a wire tray. So just remove the wire tray. Okay. So the long side facing me, okay, one of the long sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a track along like this. Not the whole way, it's just an incision, just to help to get it start to roll. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of prise it up like this. Now, if you have someone at home, get them to hold their hands like that, just to stop it from kind of going out further on you. So just roughly, just like that. See, I'm grabbing my paper and I'm coaxing it down there. Okay, we don't want to roll it too tight either. Okay, that's sufficient there. And now I'm just going to get my plate. Just grab the bottom of it and just lift it neatly onto the plate, just like so. So what we want to do is we want to get that seam side down. Okay, so just continue on. That's it. And when you have the seam side down, just put your paper back over it again and just kind of run your hands up and down along like that, just to firm it. So about 3/4 ways up, just cut it at an angle, just down like that. Okay. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get that piece and we're going to shift it to the side. And you see, it kind of creates a log. And you can see into our lovely meringue. And then we're going to just put a little bit of cream on top. Just not too much. We don't want to cover the entire thing with cream, but just enough that we'll create a kind of an effect with our chocolate then that we've chipped. Okay. Okay. And then we'll clean up our plate now in a second. So then we just get our chocolate. Okay. So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to lash on the chocolate on top. Okay. Just like that. So you can just and just a little bit of your flake out onto your plate, just like that. Okay. And the other thing I think we'll do is just give it a little bit of drinking chocolate. Just be careful with your drinking chocolate. Never put your spoon of chocolate into your sieve, particularly with drinking, because it's very fine. It'll go right through it. So just to give it a little bit of an effect. And just down along the sides of your roulade. And then get your few raspberries. Just tuck them in along like that. Okay. And some along here. Or whatever fruit you'd like. Maybe a few blueberries as well. A few in there. That looks like a log to me now. And then might get a little strawberry. In there as well. And then of course we'll have to put old Santa Claus sitting on top. Okay, just like that. And we have a little bit of lemon balm here. Pop a little bit there beside Father Christmas. And a little bit in there. And let's have a few little loose bits of chocolate. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a delicious meringue roulade, and we've made it into a lovely meringue log for Christmas. So you can enjoy that Christmas Day after your dinner or any time throughout this Christmas season. Really easy to make, really easy to decorate. So until next week, bye for now.